But it's really nice to see people having so much fun so early in the morning. Normally when I go for breakfast, most of the people are not that happy like you are. So I really enjoy it to be here with you. You hear all the good things about me. Now you're expecting a good information from me. I don't have any good information.
Oh, well, that's
normal. No, I can tell you what's going on in Miami-Dade County. Right now we are doing the final on the pricing for the year assessment, which we have it ready by June 1st, so we can give it to the county and to the government so they can start looking what kind of budget they're going to create for next year, or for this year. And in July we will certify with the Department of Revenue. So we are really working hard on that. I can tell you so far what we see. Some areas are increasing in value. For example, Pinecrest is one of the areas that we see the values are increasing. Not a lot. It's a small increase that we have, like for example in Corrugated, Key Biscayne, Miami Beach, Aventura, Miami Springs. So we have some of these cities that we can start seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. Some of the cities like Florida City, Homestead, still way down. They have a lot of foreclosures before, and they still having some foreclosures now. So the values of the properties in that area are very low. To give you an idea, properties that were selling in 2009 for about $300,000, you can buy today for about $50,000, $60,000. So it's that bad in the Homestead area. And you have a lot of developers in there, because what happened is most of the developers went to the Homestead area because they have more land to develop. And they start going crazy. They were doing first 25, 30 houses. They sell those houses very quick, tremendous value, so they start getting 100 acres in the Homestead area. They're going to develop 1,000 houses. So they went really crazy. So what happened is most of those developments, when the crunch came in, they were under construction. Most of the people, they become investors, because we see a lot of people that become investors. They took money from their houses to invest in real estate, because everybody was thinking that in 6 months they're going to start making money, and they were listening to the developers, what they were telling them. You know, I put this price on the house today for $190,000, and I sell 10, and next week I come out and says, hey, the value now is $220. So everybody was thinking that they make $30,000 profit. They got nothing in their pocket. And crunch came in, and that's where we have all the kind of problems in that area. We still have a lot of people, what we call it, underwater. The people that got underwater, in my personal opinion, I've been in real estate for over 40 years and 37 years as a real estate appraiser. I was watching everything coming to us in 2008, 2007. I was arguing with the banks because they want to lend money, and my argument was all the time that the value of those properties they were selling, they were not for real. I present, for example, appraisals on a $2 million shopping center, and that shopping center was in a contract for $3 million. And there was no way in numbers, because when you apply the income of those approaching those properties, there was no way that the property were $3 million, but the people were paying that amount. So what happened is those numbers went to the courthouse, and all the appraisals will start getting that kind of information, and the property was going up and up and up, and you can see property increasing in 6, 7 months, 20, 30, 40%, and that was not realistic at all. So that was the situation where you have so many people now on the water. I saw a lot of people taking money from their houses, from the mortgage, and getting new mortgages to invest. And that's a lot of people that got that kind of problem. What happened, one thing I want to tell everybody, I don't collect taxes. I I hate when I hear taxes because I'm a real estate appraiser. And we establish the value of the property. The government collect the taxes and establish the taxes. I have nothing to do with that. Even if we reduce the properties all to $100, every property in Miami-Dade County, the 1 million properties that we have, and the government need X amount of money for the budget, they're going to increase the millage, and they're going to produce some money. So please, I've been blamed for a lot of things, but I'm not guilty on that. I'm guilty because we established a fair value of the properties in Miami-Dade County. When I was elected, my main concern was to establish the right value of the properties in Miami-Dade County. I'm a professional, I'm not a politician. Right now, I'm in one of the bad times in my life because I have to become a politician again because I'm going to be trying to be re-elected. But it's really, let me tell you, it's the worst time for a professional to be in. Because you see now politicians are coming in to try to become appraisals in Miami-Dade County, and that's a decision that people are going to have to make. We want a politician in that position, or we want a real an appraisal. So it's a professional to a politician. I know you have a lot of questions, so I'm going to stop right now and any questions that we have. Yes, sir.
Your term is at 4 years?
4 years.
4 years.
It's finished next year on January. So I have to run again, and the election is on August 14th. Yes, sir.
The decline in property values in Miami-Dade County, how does it compare with other counties in Florida? I know Florida's been hard hit, and I know there's quite a bit of variability within Dade County, as you just said. I just recently bought a place up in Jensen Beach, and we got it for like 40% of what a person paid for it 5 years ago. And so I'm wondering how Dade County compares to other counties.
Well, it happened all over. Let me tell you, we have areas in Dade County that compare to any area in the north of Florida. I've been we have meetings with all the 67 property appraisers in the state of Florida, and I see the problems they have. The difference between Miami-Dade County. Miami-Dade County, we have over 1 million properties. So we have areas that the prices of those properties have been controlled. Pinecrest, Coral Gables, Key Biscayne. So most of those counties in the north, they don't have the kind of different properties or different capabilities on money like we do have. To give you an idea, they call it in the north, they call it the Big Daddy. What the Big Daddy is doing in the county, Miami-Dade County, so they follow through what we try to pursue to make everybody happy with the values of the property. But when you go to Ocala and all those areas, they've been hit really bad. And if you go to the area on the West Coast with the Cape Coral was, I mean, that's a bad area. You have also Port St. Lucie on the East Coast that also was really hit bad because there was a lot of investors going on in those areas, and now those people don't have the money to pay. Yes, sir.
How does Florida rank to the other states as far as either millage rate or some other measure of property taxes?
That one I cannot answer perfect. I can tell you that the government in Miami-Dade County is used to spend a lot of money. I'm a government right now. I hope I can be for another 4 years, I don't know. But it's very difficult because in Miami-Dade County, we spend and we spend, and the more money was coming in those years like 2006, 7, 8, and 9, the amount of money that the county received because of the increasing value of the property. And you could see that the millage was reduced little by little, but very slow. They don't want to let it go. They don't want to reduce the value of the millage so we can pay less taxes. They want everybody to keep paying as much taxes as we're paying today. I believe our millage has been very hard for the people in Miami-Dade County compared to the other areas. And hopefully now they're seeing the situation completely different. Now we have the cows dying, so we don't have that amount of money. To give you an idea, on the first years I was elected, nobody could have believed that I will do that. But we reduced the tax value on the properties, the value for taxes in property of $70 billion in Miami-Dade County. That was 2009. In 2010, we got another tax value reduction of $31 billion.
In addition to the first 30?
Yes. And last year we have $5.5 billion. This year we are talking about the possibility that will be somehow between $2 to $6 billion what we're going to be reducing in value. Again, so right now, up to now, we have around $66 billion on assets value down in Miami-Dade County. That's the reason they have the $400 million red on Miami-Dade County and all the cities with the same problem.
How much did you start with when you say $66 billion on a basis of what?
Assets value, what the values have been reduced.
Yeah, I know that, but where'd you start? In other words, it's $66 billion on how much?
We have at that time around $245 billion worth of
so about a quarter.
assets value. Yes, it's been really hard. You know, politicians always thinking about I don't want to fight with the government. I want to make it level. In my case, I'm not a politician. I went straight to the value of the properties. If the county's commissioners and the mayor got upset, that's your problem. Yes?
You said that this year there might be a reduction of $5 to $6 billion, but the real estate market is picking up and prices are going up that are being purchased for. Aren't you using the purchase price as a fair market value?
Remember that we have to use for this year the value of the property from January 1st, 2011 until January 1st, 2012. What happened now is going to be for the next year.
Oh.
So that's the situation that we have to use the sales from last year. Yes, sir?
Would you explain what procedure somebody should follow in the event that they disagree with the appraisal of their property?
Of course. You have the value adjustment board. The only thing you have to do is apply. It's $15. Now it's a new law. You have to pay 75% of those taxes before April 1st. So you can go to the hearing. If you don't pay that amount of money, then your appeal will be dropped. So you don't have that chance. You will be sitting down on a table like this with somebody representing the property appraiser, and there will be a magistrate. What is a magistrate? It's a person who's been over 5 years as a real estate appraiser. So he's a complete independent, doesn't work for the property appraisal, work for the clerk of the court, but representing you as a judge. So he will make the decision if your property is, the assessed value of the property is correct or not. I spent 10 years, I was a magistrate for 10 years in Miami-Dade County.
Follow-up question.
Yes, sir.
If there's a reduction in your appraisal and you've paid more than that amount, do you get a refund?
Yes, sir. You get a refund, and this year they got a new law. You get 1% per month of whatever you pay over. I was telling them that I want to send a check for $150,000 for my house, so I can get a refund later on because they're going to be paying more than what the banks are paying. They told me no. Yes, ma'am.
As our population ages, could you just describe to me about the senior exemption on homesteads, the discount for senior citizens?
Yes. 65 years old have to be people with limited income. What is a limited income is $27,030 per family. If you make less than that, you can apply for the senior homestead exemption. Some of the cities, you got a $50,000 reduction. Some of the cities are $25,000. I'm glad you asked that question. I tried to pass a law this year to try to freeze the value of the assessment for all the seniors. The seniors are getting really hit bad because of the Social Security checks. They are not increasing. I believe this year going to be an increase of 3.5. That's the maximum they're going to get. So every time we give them an increase on taxes or insurance, they're going to have to take it away from somewhere. And there will be food or medicine. So I tried to pass the law. This is my second year trying, but the legislators didn't pass the law. They passed the law with the Marlins, Marlin parking area. They did it in 5 days. And then I find out why the seniors was not passed. One person, I'm sure you already know, it's in the newspaper, Mr. Cantera was in charge of the legislators, and he's going to be running against me. So I have a legislator against me this year, and they blocked that senior law, and really, for me, was very upset.
How hard is it to get? I looked for it online, and I couldn't find any applications online.
You have all the applications online. Right now, the
Okay.
webpage of the Miami-Dade County is one of the best web pages in the state of Florida, and maybe some part of the United States, because I was an appraiser for 37 years. So when I got there, I have so many complaints about the web page of the Miami-Dade County. There was no information of type of sales. In those particular time, they were put like a 1, a 2, or 3, or 4. Then you have to figure out what is a 1, 2, 3, and 4. The public have no knowledge. Only the appraisals knew that the 1 was a good sale, the 2 was a combined sale, the 3 was a foreclosure. I mean, it was really difficult. And there was no information of the qualifications of those sales. So when I got in there, that was my main purpose, to make it clear to everybody. So we now have a qualified team in my office only to call the people on the sales to find out how the sale was. We contact the attorneys, we contact the buyers, the sellers, or the lenders to find out if there was an arm's length transaction or there was a deal between family members, or so we can clarify to the people, this is a good sale, this is a distressed sale, this is a different sale. And right now, you go to the webpage, you're going to find that immediately.
Okay.
We have all the applications for anything that you need, homestead. If you don't find it, just give us a call to the office and we'll mail it to you immediately. Yes, sir?
Could you also address the issue of portability?
Okay. On the portability, that's one of the best things they did. Let me tell you. What the difference that you have between the assessed value of your property and the market value, that amount, you can take it, you can port that to the next property. So what we do is, let's say you have $100,000 different there, and you bought a house for $300,000. We can deduct that $100,000 from your property, and you start paying taxes on $200,000 from there. And then you take your homestead, whatever, that will be deducted also. But it's really great. On a big houses, you can go up to $500,000.
And that's only within Dade County, or does it port outside of Dade
No,
County?
you can port it anywhere.
Anywhere
It's
within
in the state of
Florida.
Florida. That's correct. That's correct. We even port from people outside coming down to Miami. We do the same.
What percentage of the properties in Dade County are under the homestead exemption, roughly?
Not a percent. I'm going to give you an amount. It's actually 435,000 people are on the homestead. And on the seniors, we got 45,640.
Now, after the big reduction in values, to what degree is the homestead exemption still providing people some protection from inflation? Has it come back down to where it was, or just how's that worked out?
Well, you have to cap.
Yeah.
For example, last year the cap was 1.5%, so there was only a small increase. If you don't have the cap, we have a new cap now for the property non-homestead, that is 10%. But in November, you have the opportunity on the ballot, there's going to be a reduction to a 5%. So any property that is not under homestead, commercial property, anything, the maximum increase will be a 5% cap. So that really is going to be a good law to help mainly people as an investor, that we can bring a lot of people from South America and from Europe to buy properties in here as an investor, because the increase will be only 5%. Yes, ma'am?
Can you explain the disability exemption too?
Okay, we have disability, partial, we have a full disability. We have for militaries and we have for private persons. You have to bring letters from your doctor showing the kind of disability that you have, and the office will make the final decision on the disability. Let me tell you, that's very important. I'm fighting now with the law, because last year I really have a very sad time meeting with one person. This lady, she was involved in an accident when she was 1 year old. She's blind, her brain is damaged, but she moved her arms. And according to the law, if that person moved her arm, it's not a full disability. So I argued with the Department of Revenue for almost 6 months. So finally, I got an 80% of deduction on that person, because she owns her own house and she has somebody to take care of her. And really, that was a time that I see something in front of me that was really difficult. How come that particular person is not 100% disabled when she needs everybody to do everything for her, because she moved her hands. So we're working in Tallahassee now to see if we can change that law.
But that provision is, I'm sorry.
Sorry. Does it have to be an owner of the property, or can it be a child who's disabled residing with parents or another family member?
No, it has to be the owner of the property.
Has to be.
Has to be the owner of the property.
And the provision increases the amount of homestead exemption, or?
Some of them, they get a more deduction,
Okay.
or it could be a complete 100% deduction.
Okay.
If the person is
And
complete
And therefore they
disabled.
pay no property tax.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So if you've got a disabled child, they could get an exemption?
No, because unless the child is the owner, but the child is not allowed to be the owner of the property. So we have a lot of laws that really doesn't make sense, but that's the way they're working.
Considering the reduction in revenue raised by property taxes, which as a property owner, I'm all for, but as a person living in the state of Florida, I am concerned that since our municipalities, our different government levels can't fund enough to provide the services that they have in the past, that we're looking at the real possibility of an income tax in the state.
That's been, it's a lot of talking about that in Tallahassee. I spent a whole week in Tallahassee. But let me tell you something about the government. And I'm the government, but I love to talk about it. I got in my office in 2009, the worst time in real estate history in the entire United States. But let's talk about Miami-Dade County. The budget in my office, I reduced $2 million from the budget in my office in 2009. 2010, I reduced another $2 million from my budget in Miami-Dade County. 2011, $2,100,000. I mean, why, if the property appraiser office can do it, why all the government in Miami-Dade County cannot do it? Why cannot save money? Because let me tell you, the difference between politics and a businessman, every time I spend money, it's from my pocket. I don't have a credit card that says property appraisal. Yes, it says, but it's exclusive realty. It's my company. I pay my bills. I don't have any credit card from my office. Everything that we spend in my office, I'm watching like a hawk. When I walk in my office, to give you an idea, I have a piece of paper in my desk that says renovation for the office of the property appraiser when I was elected for $92,000. When I saw the paper and I looked at the office, I never had an office as beautiful as what I have right now. In my office, I have a wall like that, and I'm looking at that when I'm working in my computer doing appraisals. I don't have even a view outside. Now I see the entire north side of Miami-Dade County from my office. I got a beautiful window. And I looked at like